Hello, I'm Julie. I'm from Whittlesford in the very south of the diocese, and that's where my LLM training has been and where I will be placed, working with my amazing incumbent. Why did I want to become an LLM? I was very strongly influenced as a teenager by two readers at my church, which was actually in Erith in Kent rather than Erith in Cambridgeshire. They were really interesting people, but they also obviously took part in some of the service, and they led the Crusaders, the youth group. So I spent a lot of time with them, and I just thought they were wonderful people. And as life takes you along, I felt called numerous times, and it was always a case of, not now. I can't do it now. There are too many other things in the way. I now live in Whittlesford, and this place has been such an amazing place, such an amazing group of people, that this is the time was really the situation for me. The selection process was interesting and a little scary, a little daunting. However, I met the people at that selection day that I have now spent the last 2 years training with, and that has been the most incredible experience. But there are lots of little interviews, and sometimes you feel like you've kind of said something before and there's quite a bit of overlap, but they are looking for specific things, so you don't need to worry about that. Answer the questions, be completely honest and open, and the right situation will come out of those conversations. The training has been pretty full on. There are lots of modules, some of which have been incredible, and I've learned so much. The New and Old Testament has been completely opened up to me in such a very different way, especially the Old Testament. The other subject areas, church history, oh my word, I adore church history. You feel like you just scratch the surface with each of the subject areas, and it whets your appetite, and you go away saying, okay, when I finish, that pile of books that I'm going to want to read and get through is my next sort of phase. It's just the start, and it's a lifelong learning process, especially in ministry. So one of my major highlights was my placement. I went to Little St Mary's in central Cambridge, a very different tradition to the one in Whittlesford, and once again, it opened my eyes to a whole different type of practice. And what really surprised me was the way that I felt incredibly comfortable with that tradition. Again, it can be extremely full on. It does depend where your placement is. At the end of my 4 weeks, I was so fortunate that Holy Week was included. I think I went to 15 services in Holy Week. I also joined the choir, so there was that extra aspect, but it was a transformative placement for me, and I've also made real friends there, and I will be popping back on the odd occasion without a shadow of a doubt. When I sat down with my incumbent after my placement, and she said to me, what sort of thing do you think you would like to bring back? Because obviously you've had an incredible experience. Music's really important to me, and so I said I'd really like to bring some of the music back and see how we can't maybe put that into our services, even have maybe a special service. We've got very strong connections with our local primary school. They come and sing with us at Christmas. Why don't they come and sing with us at other times? So I think that's something that I'm really going to be working towards, maybe bringing some people that maybe also don't come to church that often, who happen to be marvellous musicians. So yes, forward, my title might be LLM brackets music. Thank you.